Up next, it's the beautiful Belinda De Lucy. So, Belinda, what have you got for us?
Well, it was reported this week that prisoners in Scotland were receiving free hip-hop courses while in the clink. These 8-week-long courses are being gifted to these crims by, yes, yours truly, the taxpayer, in a bid to help prisoners with their self-esteem and to give these poor criminals a voice. Aww, give me a break. Prison isn't supposed to be a therapy retreat. It isn't supposed to be nice. It's not some holiday camp where one gets to indulge in one's hobbies. Its main purpose must be to punish, protect the public and act as a deterrent. It must be a place that is feared, that is so uncomfortable that violent criminals who have caused much harm and devastation to others never want to step foot in it again. And yes, this can go alongside important rehabilitation schemes, but please spare me this constant lib-left desire to mollycoddle, excuse and empathise with violent criminals because they've had a tough life. Millions have had a tough life, have been through trauma, have struggled financially and don't choose to go and rob local shops, mug, kill or rape someone. And what dimwit thought hip-hop was an appropriate genre for crims to be immersing themselves in anyway? It's literally the worst kind of music for criminals wanting to change their ways. Lyrics glamorising guns, drugs, popping cops and gangsters. It's the opposite of rehabilitation. The best punishment and rehab combo for violent criminals is not to throw more taxpayers' money at frivolous courses, but to dress them up in orange boiler suits, chain their ankles together and let's see them in rows picking up litter, fixing our potholes, removing graffiti and saving the taxpayer loads of money while giving back to the communities they've held in a grip of fear and often helped to destroy.
Well, I mean, well said, Belinda, but if Benjamin gets his way, he'll have the pensioners doing all of that.
You'll have all the pensioners chained up, won't you, doing all the graffiti removal?
You know, I think a 19th century workhouse is missing its matron based on that.
I take that as a compliment.
My first question is, what's popping cops?
Oh, you know, pop it. You know that.
Is that your rap? You're going to rap
Pop it like it's hard, you know, from Snoop Dogg. I think they're talking about
don't,
popping.
Belinda, but thank you.
I love hip-hop, but it really isn't the best rehabilitation.
I think you are so mistaken. Clearly, prison should be a punishment. And the idea of being locked away in a small room for 16 hours a day and not be able to see your loved ones is obviously an incredible punishment, as people that have been to prison would generally tell you. But the fact is that it is meant to rehabilitate them so they are capable of leading a normal, stable life on their own 2 feet when they come out. And I watched a documentary recently which found that I think something like 1/3 of prisoners are illiterate, male prisoners are illiterate. And so things like rap can be a fantastic way for them to help develop their vocabulary, help develop their understanding of the English language. It's a really engaging way to develop their skills. And if they don't do that, all you have is a scenario where you've locked them up rightly for something appalling, they come out 4 years later and they have no skills to do anything else.
I don't think Benjamin's listened to much hip-hop because they don't speak very well in those songs. What I'd say to this is very clear. You know, there's got to be something in prison to break up the day. But my biggest concern is that a lot of people are leaving prison completely radicalised. There's massive numbers of people leaving prison, converting to Islam and then becoming extremely radical on the streets. There's plenty of documentaries on it for the audience to look out for there. So I'd much rather see the prison service educating people, but also instilling British values. And like you said, get them out helping fill potholes.
Give back to the community.
Show the communities that they've damaged, that they're useful
Let them
for
on
something.
the streets while they're meant to be in prison. What a great idea,
Benjamin.
Alex.
Hopefully,
Jesus.
not free, are they? They're going to be chained up.
And secondly, since when is hip-hop?
Yes, of course, they're in prison. It's not a day off.
You think they have sort of something around their ankle,
well,
like
they
some
should
kind of
if they're outside.
Albie, what do you think? Do you think hip-hop courses, 8-week-long courses being paid for by the taxpayer and National Lottery funded, is a good use of taxpayers' money to help rehabilitate?
Well, the first thing I would say is that everything that goes on in a prison is paid for by the taxpayer. So if your argument is that we shouldn't be spending taxpayer money on prisoners, then I would say that was a stupid one. I agree with what Alex Armstrong actually said, that there's got to be something to break up the day for these prisoners, and also with what Benjamin said, which is that hip-hop and rap, it might not be an art form that you appreciate, but it's an art form that millions across the world appreciate, and it can be at times very poetic, very witty, very good with language, and it might be a good way to get these people who are disillusioned with other forms of literature to understand understand and enjoy literature.
How is it going to help them get a job? That's the whole point
Well,
of
if it's
rehabilitation.
going to increase their literacy, then that's going to help them get a job, isn't
if
it?
they learn
A
to
literacy
actually
in
read.
hip-hop, have you
Well,
They're not learning
Well, it's English,
that's
isn't
the
it?
problem. They're
It is
learning some
English. I mean, I don't know how much
deformed
hip-hop you've listened to.
I mean, I think you're deeply condescending, Belinda. You think because, you know, that form of poetry, which it basically is one that you and your fancy house as a class, you know, as
you've
a rich
got a little...
woman...
You need to have a little green jealousy
You just
tablet.
look down on these people, don't you?
I totally look down on rapists, murderers. I know the left don't, and
But
the left
rapists
like
and
to
murderers-
see them
rapists and
as
murderers aren't gonna be
victims.
getting out anytime
I'm
soon.
really sorry, but these criminals destroy lives. People live in fear. They have their lives ruined
That's
by
why
these
they're in
criminals,
prison.
and the left
But
excuse
Belinda,
them all the time.
they're going to come out of
It's
prison
not-
at some point,
it's
aren't
not
they?
society's fault,
What
it's
a
the prison's
stupid,
fault.
foolish, naive
No,
argument.
not
that
at all.
you think that because they did something utterly appalling that puts
Yeah.
them in prison, that they therefore shouldn't have the ability to build a life where they don't repeat that appalling
Listen
thing.
to what I
Your
said,
attitude would have
Benjamin.
more murderers and more rapists on the
Listen
street
to what
because
I
they've got
said.
nothing else to
All
do.
right, Yappy, listen to what I said. I said that they should be out there giving back to the community, learning how to build walls, learning how to fill in potholes.
Okay.
That's work ethic for them. That will rehabilitate them and give back to the community. You're too soft on criminals, and that's why there's so many of them.
We need to give back now to our advertisers.